Organizers of the Dumsor Vigil would have to wait till tomorrow for clarity over whether the police would permit the May 16th vigil or not. Lawyers for the organizers say they only needed to inform the police about the vigil by law and do not need permission, and that they will go ahead nonetheless. So, Ga, La and traditional councils, the police management of Bonjour, formerly called On the Run, and University of Ghana, what at all is ruffling the feathers of everyone in this Dumsor Vigil? This is today's big story with me, Stephen Enti. Now, the police today held a meeting with organizers of the May 16th Dumsor Vigil and the Ghana Traditional Council, who petitioned the police against the vigil since they claim there is a ban on noise making ahead of the Homowo festivities. Police, however, say the outcome of the meeting today was inconclusive and have rescheduled a second meeting for tomorrow. What this means in principle is that the permission earlier granted to organizers of the vigil is on hold. Let's hear the Public Relations Officer of the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, DSP Ifia Tenge.
Some developments has come up since the last time we met the delegation of the celebrities, and today we had to meet them again. And even before in our first meeting with the celebrities, we indicated to them the concern of the ban on drumming and noise making. But they told us, they assured the police that this is not one of a demonstration. This is not one that is going to generate noise, and they are going to ensure that this vigil is within the permissible level of noise that should be expected. And today we had to invite them again due to the letter we received from the Ghana Traditional Council.
Things stand now, the celebrities don't have the police permission to go ahead with the demonstration.
For now, we have not finalized arrangements.
So they don't have permission?
We have not finalized arrangements.
No, I want to be clear, without any ambiguity, they don't have permission.
No, if you don't finalize arrangements, how can you go on a demonstration? We need to finalize it. There are certain developments coming. There are certain dynamics. So these issues must be addressed. So when we address them, then we can give the go-ahead finally. That is why I said we have not finalized arrangements yet.
Right, so this vigil has brought up a couple of controversies about demarcation. The Ghana Traditional Council claimed that the area schedule where the vigil is supposed to take place is under the Ghana Traditional Council and must be under the ban on drumming and dancing ahead of the drumming and noise making, I beg your pardon, ahead of the Homowo festivities. Let's get onto the line now and speak to David Oleinu, who is the president of the La Citizens Network. David, we're grateful for your time on today's big story.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Evening.
Thanks very much for joining. So, what have the Ghana people why is it that the Ghana people have not resolved the demarcation issues with La?
It is rather unfortunate that they issued such a statement because they themselves know that their boundaries does not extend to that area. They have their boundary of jurisdiction, and the La people also have their boundary, which extends through airports, Legon, Medina, all those areas are under the La Traditional Council.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, La has also attained their metropolitan status now. So we now have our LADMA, that is the La Municipal Assembly, which presides over all these jurisdictions.
I see.
So for them to issue a statement claiming that there is ban on noise making and drumming, and as such, the vigil cannot come on, I think is rather unfortunate because their boundaries do not extend up to that area. And moreover, if there is a ban on noise making and drumming, it's only within their boundaries, that is the Gamashin It does not extend to Teshi, it does not extend to La, it does not extend to the Nungwa area, and it does not cover all those areas, including Legon, because Legon is not under the Gamashi land. So it's rather unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. But David, I'm interested in, I mean, I'm sure many of my viewers would also ask, how come that the issue of demarcation never came up until the organizers of the vigil announced their vigil? Why? Why is it that nobody ever mentioned the issue of demarcation between La and Ga until this vigil came up? Or there's no problem as far as you're concerned?
There hasn't been any problem of this demarcation. There hasn't been any previous problem. What I said was, initially we're all under the AMA. Now, La has attained its own municipal level. So we are no more under AMA. So we now have our municipal that presides over our boundary. And if you care to know, La land ends at Ayimensa. It extends up to that area. So for the people of Gamashi to claim that their ban on noise making and drumming will affect those areas, it's not true. It's never true, because it's not yet time for the La people to celebrate their Omowo. When it's time for La people, we also leave the ban. We also raise the ban on noise making and drumming, which will now cover those areas. So as it is now, if they are saying there is ban on noise making and drumming, then it means it's only within their boundaries. It shouldn't extend up to that area. So they have no locus for issuing any statement stopping the vigil. To me, I'm saying that maybe it's politically motivated, because I don't expect the Gachis to issue such statements.
Politically motivated, that some people with NDC interest are pushing for the ban, the ban to affect. Right. Now, let me ask you a simple question. You have said that there is no ban on drumming and noise making in the La Traditional Council area, where the journey of the vigil from Legon to Tetekwashi roundabout is under the La Traditional Council. So let's assume that if the ban on noise making and drumming was in force in Labadi, would you have stopped the vigil?
Yes, with that one, the traditional authorities would have stopped the vigil. But even with that, they can come and sit down with the traditional leaders, and they can negotiate that whatever they are going to do can be done peacefully. Because I don't think the vigil is going to bring any, we are not going to play music, they are not going to make any loud noise that will affect the ban on noise making and drumming.
I see. So let me also ask you, do you support the vigil?
I support the vigil because I'm a Ghanaian. My business is collapsing. My family businesses are collapsing because of the Dumsor issue. And we are all suffering. So it's not about which political party you belong to. It's about we, the citizens of Ghana, expressing our interest in the Dumsor issue. So I support the vigil. And I can support anyone from any walk of life who will organize such an event.
Right.
To just let the government know our concerns.
So are you going to take part in the vigil? Are you going to march?
If I am available on that day, I will definitely join.
Right, okay.
If not, I will support them in spirit.
Right, Mr. Daniel, David Olenu, we're grateful. David is the president of the Ga Citizens Network, speaking to us there live from La Citizens Network. Now, our reporter, Ridwan Karim Dini Osman, spoke to Yvonne Nelson, who is the lead person for the Dumsor Must Stop Vigil. Let's hear.
You're Ghanaian?
Sure.
Okay, and you're going through a Dumsor as well. I'm also going through a Dumsor. The thing is, I've been tweeting about Dumsor Must Stop like long ago. Like I started this whole tweet thing like, well, ages ago. But I don't know why it trended that day. I tweeted it. You know, I tweeted around 12 midnight or something. The next morning I realized it was trending. I don't know why I started trending on Twitter. I don't know, everything happens for a reason. So it's not like I've never, you know, spoken about Dumsor or the problems we're facing in the country and all of that. I'm very vocal about stuff like that. So I don't know why it started trending, you know, so that I don't know. Okay. But I guess it's because Ghanaians are frustrated and everyone is tired.
Okay. Is it because it went viral? That's why you're organizing this whole vigil?
I didn't want to be a coward, you know, it was trending on Twitter, you know, everybody was tweeting about it. I actually met up with my lawyers and I was like, hey, I want to take it onto the streets, you know, I want to be that voice for every Ghanaian. I'm Ghanaian, I'm suffering. I can't afford petrol anymore. I have a gen, but I can't even afford the petrol anymore. I can't preserve my Zalatan for my eye because I use Zalatan and Cosimolol for my eye. I've got pressure on my eye. So we all have a lot of changes, you know. I'm worried about all the Legon students who are writing exams who don't have electricity to learn. I'm worried about people dying in hospitals. I am worried about, there's a whole lot. I'm sure you also have your own challenges as a Ghanaian. So I just want to, we all want to be that voice. Van Vekam, myself, DKB, Kweku Elliott, EXO, Nikki Samonas, Becca, we all want to be that voice for Ghanaians.
Right, so that was Yvonne Nelson, and I don't know, but Afra, you are a Ghanaian too. I am a Ghanaian. I'm not sure you're going to march. Are you going to march?
Well,
yes or no? No. Yes or no?
I'll be there to
You'll be
report,
working. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Anyway, so you were at the meeting between the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Traditional Council, and the organisers of the Dumsor Vigil. So tell us about that meeting and the outcome, which the police say is inconclusive.
So today's meeting, just a point of clarity, there was between the organizers, lawyers for the organizers, and then the police, because as we know, the police had received a petition some few days ago about the fact that this vigil could possibly breach the ban on drumming and noise making, and of course that festival starts today, and they are concerned that with what we've seen in the past, demonstrations of vigils of this nature, so to speak, they turn noisy at the point. It's almost nearly impossible to maintain that level of silence or quietness as a way. And so the police called the representatives of the organizers, as the celebrities, to address those concerns. And as the outcome has, as we know now, of course, that meeting is inconclusive.
But what made it inconclusive?
The police say that, of course, with other emerging issues, particularly
the demarcation issues that have been raised by the La Traditional Council.
Certainly, they need to have those issues addressed, and they need to hear from the petitioners themselves, the representatives from the Ghana Traditional Council. So, in fact, they have scheduled another meeting for tomorrow around 2 p.m. It's the same time they organized today's meeting to iron out these concerns. We are not certain yet whether tomorrow's meeting will reach a conclusion, but of course I also asked Accra Regional Police Commander ASP Efiatenge whether they will also consider inviting the representatives from the La Traditional Council, who we've heard from today, saying that that area belongs to them and not the Ghana Traditional Council. She says that they will certainly not rule that out. But as I mentioned earlier, we're not certain how tomorrow's meeting will end and all that.
Right. So Alfred, let me hold you briefly. You spoke to Kofi Bentel about it. Alfred spoke to Kofi Bentel, who is a lawyer for the group which is organizing the Dumsor Vigil. Let's watch that interview and we'll continue with our conversation with Alfred.
Various groups have spoken about Dumsor, and it does not seem like we are getting a solution. It does not seem like it is being taken seriously enough. And we've moved from something which was a shortage of energy to an energy crisis, which is now becoming an economic crisis and is affecting people's lives. And it does not seem like all that people have said has had an impact on the government. In other words, it does not seem like the government is doing enough about it. And I'm choosing my words carefully because this is not one of those problems that defies human solution. But clearly this government has not been able to solve it. So the celebrities are saying that this is the time for them also to speak up about it, okay, and add their voice to the general concerns within the Ghanaian populace, okay? So they are adding their voice at this time because they've waited all these years believing that the government will do something, but not much has been done. It has not been effective, and we are all witnesses to the fact that promises have been made and have not been received. So what you are calling frustrations, indeed, are in a certain sense frustrations, but they have led to the achievement of the goals of this vigil even before the vigil. The whole essence of this vigil is to make sure that this issue of Dumsor becomes front and center, and that the government sits up and takes notice of the fact that people from the highest to the lowest, from managing directors to anybody below, poverty line, is affected by this thing, and we want it to become important to them as it is to us, so they will sit up and do something about it. So yes, in a sense, it's a bit frustrating because it's a democracy, and there's a quotation that those who make peaceful protest impossible make violent revolution inevitable, and it's therefore not too good that you get all these kinds of resistances when citizens are purporting to embark on a peaceful and lawful civil action. If you do that, what other avenue do you leave them with to vent?
Right, so that was Kofi Bento. So, Alfred, you went to that meeting and you basically followed all of these developments. And do you get a sense from Kofi Bento that he and his clients are overly frustrated about all this back and forth? Ga Traditional Council, La Traditional Council mentions demarcation issues. Of course, the La Traditional Council also are kind of in favor of, well, I mean, one person from the La Citizens Network is in support of this vigil. Did Kofi Bento show you signs of frustration, anything?
Absolutely, Stephen. He mentioned, and he hinted on that a bit in that interview. The point is that they were not expecting to receive this sort of resistance, especially coming from the Ga Traditional Council. And we've seen, monitoring social media, the sort of reaction from some people. They've been tagged as pro-opposition elements and so on and so forth. Mr. Bento says that's thoroughly frustrating. In fact, the fact that they thought that many Ghanaians are feeling the impact of the Dumsor, and they thought that with an action of this nature, they will receive some massive support. But this is what they are getting, and obviously it was clear speaking to him that there was that sort of frustration.
I know the police too. The police's interaction with you, they were more like cautious in using any expressions like put on hold, suspended, and everything. But if, for example, you have a vigil scheduled for Saturday, and as of Tuesday and Wednesday you're still meeting over it, that could be a bit I don't know, but it could unsettle any plan for the organizers to hold the vigil. Is the police serious about putting on hold the permission, or they didn't expressly say so?
Well, I don't get the sense, at least from monitoring events, I don't get the sense now. It could change at all that this vigil will not come on. I interacting with the public relations officer of the Accra Regional Police Command and other officials from the Accra command. I get the impression they want to hear from all sides so that they can arrive at a final decision. But speaking to them, the clear impression is that they will not revoke this earlier permit that they granted.
But you see, by law, the group does not
only need to notify
need a permit.
They only need to notify the police. But in fact, Mr. Kofi Bento and the other lawyers and representatives of the organizers, they see a positive side to all this. They say that this entire controversy
has generated huge interest.
And when you go on social media, especially Facebook and Twitter, the hashtag Dumsor must stop is trending. In fact, of course,
it's really up there.
It's really up there. It's Dumsor must stop as against Dumsor will end. Those using the hashtag Dumsor will end are mainly pro-government activists, you know. So it's pretty interesting how this entire issue is trending on social media. But once again, Mr. Bento thinks that the controversy this has generated will inure eventually to their benefit. In fact, they will get more numbers as a result to back them, support them on Saturday as they embark on this vigil.
Did he say anything? I'm not sure he spoke to you that way, but you know the University of Ghana authorities had come out to more like deny them permission to converge at the stadium, and the Bonjour, which is formerly called the On the Run, have also done. Did Kofi Bento say anything? Well, afraid I'll hold you and my questions. I'm told Kofi Bento is on the line now. Mr. Bento, good evening and thanks for joining us on today's Big Story.
Good evening, Stephen.
Yes, now it does appear that the back and forth meeting with the police and then the University of Ghana authorities denying you use of the stadium area to converge, and Bonjour, or the formerly called On the Run, also doing same. You must be frustrated. Are you frustrated yourself and your clients?
Stephen, we are not frustrated because you, the media, have been speaking and singing this one tune, which is totally inaccurate, and you're making it look like there's a problem when there's no problem. Let me reiterate these points. The venue has always been Tetakwashi, and it still remains so. There was going to be a procession on the road in front of University of Ghana, Legon. It is still going to be so. We were going to meet on the road near the stadium.
That's right.
Okay? And that was what we announced. It's the same road. The University of Ghana quickly issued a letter when we had not even spoken to them because we did not need to take the stadium. The stadium was never the venue.
I see.
We're going to walk on the road from there to Tetakwashi. When they issued their statement, we decided that forget it, let us just walk from the bridge in front of On the Run. So that is what we are going to do. Total also issued their statement. We are not going to use the fuel station. We are not interested in that. So it still remains as it always was. We will walk for 1 kilometer from the bridge in front of the old university gate to Tetakwashi, where we will have the vigil. And so it is the same plan, and that is what we will do on the 16th. So we are not frustrated. Indeed, all of this hullabaloo has led to a situation where this vigil has achieved its goal even before it started.
I see. Now, Kofi, there have been some political undertones. I mean, the former MP who petitioned the police on behalf of the Ghana Traditional Council, and then there is a La Traditional Council, and then there is also the expectation that the president will join the vigil. Would it make any difference if the president, for example, turns up on the day of the vigil and marches with you?
Well, yes, it will make a difference. Our message is first to the president and his men. What we are trying to say is to tell him that he should do enough, he should do more to solve this problem, because we believe this problem is not beyond human solution. If he joins us, we'll get the opportunity to speak directly with him. He will get to meet people whose lives have been impacted by Dumsor. So yes, he's welcome to join. Indeed, I think it affects him in one way or the other, because if you're the president of a country which is on its knees, where people are dying because they don't have light, at least you should be disgraced, you should be, ashamed. So I think Dumsor affects him in a couple of ways. So if he comes to join us, that'll be fine. So we are happy to have him, and it will be peaceful, we will not have any problems, and we expect that the message will go down well.
And have you had any communication from the president or his spokespersons on the matter?
We have not had any communication from the president. We rather have seen many reports and writings and postings on social media from people who are in and around the government and the ruling party. And most of it has been negative, casting aspersions. Some of them have come back to apologize because what they were saying was clearly in error. Whichever way it is, I think that some of these things, should be expected in a normal democracy. We have not taken serious note of them. What we are trying to say is that, look, we are facing a situation which is crippling a whole nation. And we are talking about a situation where people are actually losing lives that we can never recover from. And it's been 6 years down the line, and we don't know if there'll be any solution. The promises that we've been made have not come to pass, and we see no end to this problem. It's getting worse by the day, and something ought to be done. That is the problem. That is the serious issue. People have spoken. Think tanks have spoken. Civil society has spoken. Religious bodies have spoken. Everybody has put in their voice. It does not seem to be moving the president. Now, celebrities have decided to amplify the voices of ordinary persons. We hope this will move the president. Mr. President, get up and do more. Solve this problem because it can be solved. That's what we want to achieve. In a quiet vigil, a lawful assembly of concerned citizens to express themselves in a peaceful peaceful manner.
Right.
I think this is very much in order and should be applauded.
Right. Kofi, let's talk about the police briefly before we let you go. We don't have a lot of time, so I'll be snap about it. What happens if, for example, after tomorrow's meeting with the Ghana Traditional Council, the police decides that it does not have the capacity to offer security for the group which will be going on the vigil, and for that matter, it's more like withdrawing the protection they could give you on that day? What would you do?
That is a hypothetical question, and really, it's even far-fetched. It's like saying that wife comes and tells you that regardless of all the resources you've given me, I don't have the wherewithal to cook for you. I mean, you will be able to question why not, because you have a few people who are going to march 1 kilometer and have a vigil, and the whole Ghana police say they cannot do something about that. I don't think that will happen. Indeed, the police have been very professional.
And
the police have been very cooperative.
You do not anticipate that?
No, we don't think that will happen. The police have been very professional, very supportive on this. Indeed, they have not said no to us. Our plans still stand.
Yeah.
What they've told us is that they've received consent, from sections of society, and they want to take those concerns into cognizance. So they want us to meet those people so we can amicably settle the issues that each of us has. So the police have in no way stopped us or given us any indication that they are not, happy to give us the kind of security that we require. So we really don't think that's going to happen.
Right, Kofi Bento, we're grateful. But before you go, how many people are you expecting on that day, that evening for the march?
We are inviting everybody to be part. We don't know how many will come, but we believe a few hundred, maybe 1,000 people will turn up.
Right, Mr. Bento, we're grateful for your time on today's big story. So, after you heard Mr. Bento, you heard the police. You think this is going to be peaceful, the vigil?
I think so, but well, you
never know.
Anything is possible. Of course, looking at how fiercely the Ghana Traditional Council are saying they will resist any attempt to, converge on their grounds. It remains to be seen what will happen. But of course, the police are there to offer that protection. But that also depends on whether or not after tomorrow's meeting they say that, well, we can't offer you that protection or not.
Mr. Bento says they do not anticipate that. Certainly. Right. Anyway, Afre, we're grateful for your time. Afre Nyama Kwachi. Afre is Afre Nyama Kwachi. I mixing your name up. Is a reporter with Joy News. My name is Stephen Enti, and we're grateful that you could join us on today's big story. Up next will be Joy News Interactive. Do stay.